Some say that you should be called to fast, and God had definitely called me to fast. Everywhere I went, I kept on seeing the word fast. Either I was hearing it in situations or coming across scriptures that pertain to fasting. I couldn't escape it. I had just completed a 4-day fast. One of the many prayer requests that I made was to meet an archangel. I had mentioned to God that I see many people have encounters with angels, and I've never had one. I entered this fast a broken woman. I was broken in all areas of my life. While praying, I placed myself on the floor with tears streaming down my face, and I prayed and I repented to God all the things that I've done that I can remember from childhood to where I am right now. I said to God, I come as I am, and I ask you to help me. I was not prepared for what came next. It was a cold and brisk night. I remember that night because my child and I decided to go play the lottery. I know, playing the lottery, and I just fasted. I repented later. I was in a hurry, and I prayed that there were no customers. Good. No cars, yes. I was talking ridiculous stuff to myself when a man came into my line of vision. Well, I think it was a man. Wait, no, it was a man. Yes, it's a man. I was in the driver's seat, so I can see right into the store as far as where the gums and candies are in front of the cashier. He was standing in its path behind the shopping cart. Looking down, the man was adjusting whatever was in the cart. And looking back now, I realized that he just wanted me to stop and look. I started to dissect his look, because that's what I like to do. He was about 6 feet and had brown hair with hints of gold and strands of gray. His shoulder-length hair feathered softly around his face. A white man with tannish skin. Dude's wearing a shawl. He was wearing a brown coarse shawl that softly wrapped around his neck and draped over his tunic. Lost in thought, I hadn't realized that he stopped fidgeting, and then he suddenly looked up. He pushed back his round John Lennon glasses. He had soft eyes, but flung me a steely look that gave an impression that he could see what was directly behind my car seat. And why didn't I clean my car? But did I look away? No. He held my gaze, and then he looked back down again and began to fidget with something in the cart. I then looked away. When I looked back, he had stepped out and stood in front of the store under the parking lot lights, and I started to stare. Depending on what social circles you speak to, I am this nosy. And I looked up and down and back again. Kids, it wasn't my finest hour. I began to feel an endearment towards him, and then fear. I mean, my town is pretty tame, but I started to worry that someone might jump his ass. I watched in the rearview mirror as he and his cart crossed the street and turned down the dark corner. I don't know why I first thought, for some strange reason, I thought to myself, was that an angel? I don't know why I thought that. I mean, he wasn't those big buffed 7 foot tall, yielding a long sword used to cut down a dragon like the drawings I see online or the other ones that I see on TV. Looking back on it now, a man in the middle of the Americas wearing head to toe brown coarse wrap reminded me of someone. Yeshua, perhaps? I prayed to God under my breath. Was that a man or an angel? And I left it at that. My child finally came out, and I asked them, did they see a man in there wearing a dark brown tunic shawl wrapped around his body? Yes, they saw him. He was already there in the magazine section, which was right beside the lottery booth. While they were choosing their numbers, he looked over their shoulders and said, "Are you sure you want to choose those numbers? I hope they are the winning numbers." He walked a little bit of ways and stopped in front of the cashier. He called out, "I hope you win the next lottery." That night, we prepared to wind down by doing Bible studies and devotionals where we read, pray, use our apps, verse of the day. I kept getting this sinking feeling, though, that was no ordinary man. The verse of the day was read to us, and we both looked at each other. Be not afraid to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. God confirmed what I thought deep down within my soul. But how did I know it was Archangel Raphael? Well, for one thing, I prayed and I asked God which archangel it was. And immediately afterwards, I felt compelled to watch a video of the book of Enoch that I came across purely by accident. And it started off with a quote, "The second is he who presides over every suffering and every afflictions of the Son of Man, the Holy Raphael." The book of Enoch 49. According to Enoch, Archangel Raphael was the archangel who took care of the sick. It made sense with the conditions I have to struggle with. I laughed and gave thanks to God. Every chance God got, he would put his name in front of my path. I went to sleep pondering 3 truths. He wasn't the tall, strapping, hair flowing down the back, scantily clad man that people draw. Far from it. I never did find out what was in his cart. Unfortunately, we didn't win the lottery. God does have a sense of humor. Little did I know that God was going to get Archangel Raphael to save my life the following week.